Good evening, David. This is David Okon. My name is David Okon, and welcome to my channel. I'm talking about Elon Musk. I'm looking at Tesla, the electric car. Look at different things, and like I said in the other video, the reason I'm talking about Elon Musk because he's very wealthy, and because I'm the reason I'm talking about wealthy people because I'm to also talk about the cost of living. It's a crisis, a global crisis. And if you view some of my video, the rest of my video, I've been talking about the cost of living all along in different ways. Now I'm looking at wealthy people because the cost of living affect poor people more than richer people. But rich people actually don't experience the cost of living because they have a lot of money anyway. The cost of living become a crisis, a problem because people don't have much money. People who work on minimum wage are on low income. That is the main cause of the cost of living. And also, if you're on state benefit, the level is very low, and that's the cause of the cost of living. Nothing else. There shouldn't be any cost of living in Britain. Britain is the richest country in the world, and there is a cost of living crisis in Britain because the government doesn't want to help people who need help. Simple as that. The government may say something else to you, but you can listen to what the government says, or listen to me, or to people who talk like me, who says nobody in Britain should be poor. Cost of living is evidence of poverty in Britain. The British people are being sent into public library to run away from cold because we are in winter now. We're heading towards spring. It's very cold. The weather is very cold. The people cannot warm their homes because they don't have money. That's why they are in the crisis known as the cost of living because they don't have enough money. The government is not willing to give them deliberately. Because the reason I say poverty is created deliberately because the people who run this country are very clever. They are so educated. They should know more than anybody else that people who don't have enough money should be given more. And the country has the capacity to give more money to people. Money is a source of necessity. If you want to buy something, you use money to buy, to pay for it. This is a global experience, a global phenomenon. People use money, especially cash. These days we use card. Actually, I think within the globe, perhaps in the UK, we only use now 30% of our transactions in cash. So cash is actually disappearing because of technology. I've been talking about Elon Musk and technology. It's affecting also our money. Our money is going to be card, digital currency, other than cash. We are going to have no cash. The last time I checked, we are 30% using cash. I think in the UK or even globally. And I already say that whatever happens in the UK will sooner or later be happening in France, in Europe, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Sweden, Finland, you know, all the European countries will always copy what the UK does. And in many ways, the US also copied Britain. And Britain also copied the US, United States of America, Canada, Israel in the Middle East, part of the Western powers, Israel in the Middle East, and also Arab worlds. Saudi Arabia is now some of the best friends actually in the West. So the power of the world is actually coming together. It's called globalization. And Elon Musk represents globalization as a power broker, one of the most powerful men on earth. He is the second richest man on earth. In theory, Elon Musk is the second most powerful man on earth also. Because money is the biggest conveyor of power. wealth is the biggest conveyor of power. And so we have been looking at different aspects of his profile, business, personal, you know, relationships. So we're looking at incidents involving Elon Musk. He recently was actually there's something called SEC, um, and there are also shareholders involved in some lawsuits regarding tweets. Some tweets were made which actually triggered lawsuits involving the SEC. In 2018, Musk was sued by the SEC for a tweet claiming that funding had been secured for potentially taking Tesla private. So SEC sued Elon Musk in 2018 when he tweeted to claim that he had acquired, there had been funding, there was funding secured for potentially taking Tesla private. So the lawsuit characterized the tweet as false and misleading and damaging to investors and sought to bar Musk from serving as CEO of publicly traded company. Now there is the idea of public company, which is actually is extremely complicated. It means member of the public buy shares into a company, but in my opinion, I think that is actually a terminology which is misleading, and I think is full of errors because a private company, there are only two types of companies, public or private. A company owned by the state, by the government, is actually a public company. A company owned by private individuals is actually a private company. It's called corporation. But I think there is either a negligence of using terminology accurately or a willful confusing of using terms. So we don't know what company is public and private. The term public and private is confused. And I think probably it's deliberate. And maybe the people are not really clever enough to know clearly that what the state is in the public sector. The state, as we know it, is public, is owned by the state. If it is owned by a group of wealthy individuals, or even poor individual owning some shares in a company, that company is not a public company, it's a private company. But the official terminology is confusing as it is actually inaccurate in my opinion. It's making claims as people can. I mean, if company as its shares traded publicly, there is seen as a public body. I think it's the wrong way to define our entities. It's confusing and it's unnecessary. It's one of the things the system allows to happen. So there's a dispute whether Tesla would be private or public. 2 days later, Musk settled with the SEC without admitting or denying the SEC's allegations. So he actually paid the SEC and settled the matter out of court. So if so it's so complicated, but that is the law. I mean, there is a civil system of law, and if you have money, sometimes even if you have committed crime, like it happened during the COVID-19, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, now Prime Minister, they broke the law on COVID restriction in Downing Street, and they pay fixed penalty. If they did not pay, they would have been prosecuted. So essentially, they bought their way out of conviction. So so Musk has stated in interviews that he does not regret posting the tweet that triggered the SEC investigation in April 2020. The shareholder who sued Musk over the tweet, along with several Tesla shareholders, said that a federal judge had ruled that the tweet was false, although the ruling in question has not been unsealed. If something is unsealed, it means it's not open to the public. It's actually not maybe declared publicly, which means it is of no effect in practical in terms of litigation. In February 2023, the jury found Musk and Tesla not liable. So there was a jury ruling which actually acquitted them. In 2019, Musk stated in a tweet that Tesla would build up 1 million cars that year. The SEC reacted to Musk's tweet by filing in court, asking the court to hold him in contempt for violating the terms of a settlement agreement with such a tweet. The accusation was disputed by Musk. There's court cases. This was eventually settled by a joint agreement between Musk and the SEC, clarifying the previous agreement details. The agreement included a list of topics that Musk would need pre-clearance before tweeting about. So there is actually a lot of irregularity as to law and practices which are actually only could be afforded behind the scene of captains of corporate empires. In 2020, a judge prevented a lawsuit from proceeding that claimed a tweet by Musk regarding Tesla's stock price too high. IMO violated the agreement. FOIA release records showed that the SEC itself concluded Musk has subsequently violated this agreement twice by tweeting regarding Tesla's solar roof production volumes and its stock prices. So there is a lot of falsity, it appears. False claims to kind of like maybe boost the shares, the share prices, maybe the value of the market. Maybe there is some kind of shadow dealings involved. Tesla and involving Elon Musk, and that might or might not surprise many people. We are looking at the Solar City and Tesla Energy, Solar City and Tesla Energy, and these are some of these really exciting things happening because you're looking at the solar energy being actually connected to the electrifying mode of producing machines, Solar City, solar panel installation vans, which actually began to feature as early as 2009, and Musk provided the initial concept and financial capital for Solar City, which his cousins Lyndon and Peter Rive founded in 2006. By 2013, Solar City was the second largest provider of solar power systems in the United States. in 2014, Musk promoted the idea of Solar City building an advanced production facility in Buffalo, New York, triple the size of the largest solar plant in the United States. So it was so huge. So big construction of the factory started in 2014 and was completed in 2017. It operated as a joint venture with Panasonic until early 2020. Tesla acquired Solar City for over 2 billion US dollar in 2016 and merged it with its battery unit to create Tesla Energy. The deal's announcement resulted in a more than 10% drop in Tesla's stock price. So these some of the movements in terms of invention, in terms of investments, growth, or some other challenges Tesla was going through, some of the dynamic, the ups and downs. At the same time, Solar City was facing liquidity issue. Liquidity means it's lacking cash. If there's an issue with liquidity, means the money has run out. Multiple shareholder groups filed a lawsuit against Musk and Tesla's directors, claiming that the purchase of Solar City was done solely to benefit Musk and came at the expense of Tesla and its shareholders. Tesla directors settled the lawsuit in January 2020, leaving Musk the sole remaining defendant. Tesla, 2 years later, the court ruled in Musk's favor. It appears to me that, it seems to me that Elon Musk is really smart because, every time he does something, he really probably get accurate legal advice, and sometimes he doesn't, because if he settles something, a dispute out of court, that would always be the result of his legal advice in terms of the prospect of the case, in terms of its legality or otherwise. Every time somebody actually settled a matter out of the court, it means there is actually always some elephant in the room. And also, it means there is some, fire somewhere. Without smoke, there is no fire. There's a smoking gun somewhere in terms of, what you call incrimination. Maybe not. But sometimes they just they do not want bad publicity, because when you take a matter to court, especially a high profile court, there's going to be a lot of evidence adduced in court. And some of those evidence can be really damaging to a company like Tesla or a person like Elon Musk. So they tend to settle disputes out of court. So we talk about Neuralink, which is quite exciting, and Neuralink, as we discussed in Musk, has always had the thought of the idea of a Neuralink device, and in 2020 he was already involved in high-profile discussions with different interested parties. There was live demonstration, for example, in 2020. So in 2016, Musk co-founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology startup company with an investment of 100 million US dollars. Startup, which means it's like initial investment, beginning a new company, which is actually quite exciting. Neuralink aims to integrate the human brain with artificial intelligence, AI, by creating devices that are embedded in the brain to facilitate its merging with machines. So essentially, machines and human being are being integrated, that being brought together. The brain, human brain, is going to be working with machine, artificial intelligence. I don't know what they're going to do. I discussed part of this in the previous video. There is a possibility that you will going to meet a human being or a human being who is part machine, but it looks like a human being and it speak like a human being and it behave probably like a human being, hopefully. But it's part machine, part human. So it is in interfacing the two, bringing the two together. So machine and man, you're going to have machine which is actually part human, part machine. A thing, a creature which is part human, part machine. If these projects actually succeed, some technology could enhance memory or allow the devices to communicate with software. So if there are devices, I don't know where the device is going to be. Is it going to be in a human brain? So if that is actually implanted into your head, a device is implanted into your head, you're going to communicate with software like computer. Actually, you can be in Manchester or in Africa, and you are a human being with part machine, part human, with things implanted into your brain. And goodness knows where else. So you think, or you can speak from here, from maybe in Europe, you can speak to a machine, a software, maybe speak to a car or an airplane or a bomb or anything. In Russia, I don't know what you're going to say to such a machine, because when you talk about software, actually, these are computer systems which actually operate machines, computerized machines. Like most of what you find in cars or security doors or whatever. The company also hopes to develop devices with which to treat neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's, I think. The Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and spinal cord injury. That is good for medication. In 2019, Musk announced work on a device akin to a sewing machine that could embed threads into a human brain. I repeat that point. In 2019, Musk announced work on a device akin to a sewing machine that could embed threads into a human brain. Threads. You know what threads are? These are mechanical devices. This can actually implant things into in the human brain. So this is just very recently in 2019, and these are really very radical technological developments. Musk is listed as the sole author of an October 2019 paper that details some of Neuralink's research. Although Musk being listed as such rankle the Neuralink team's researchers. I'm running out of battery in a minute on this program. Let me see how far I can go with what is left. At a 2020 live demonstration, Musk described one of their early devices is a Fitbit in your skull, a Fitbit in your skull that could soon cure paralysis, deafness, blindness, and other disabilities. That is really very good. Many neuroscientists and publications criticize these claims, with MIT Technology Review describing them as highly speculative and neuroscience theater. Not true, in short. The critics say what he claims is not true. During the demonstration, Musk revealed a pig with a Neuralink implant that tracked neural activity related to smell. So this technology is said to have been implemented on, tested on a pig. In 2020, Neuralink announced that clinical trial would begin by the end of the year. That was by the end of last year, so it's very current. So Neuralink has conducted further animal testing in monkeys at the University of California Davis Primate Research Center. In 2021, the company released a video in which Musk played the video game Pong via a Neuralink implant. So it looked more real and real. The company's animal trials, which have caused the deaths of some monkeys, have led to claims of animal cruelty. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine has alleged that Neuralink's animal trials have violated the Animal Welfare Act. Employees have complained that pressure from Musk to accelerate development has led to botched experiments and unnecessary animal deaths. These are some of the issues. In 2022, a federal probe was launched into possible animal welfare violation by Neuralinks. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and we're going to look at some of his inventions and his involvement. It's quite exciting. Elon Musk. Read privately on Elon Musk. Subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next one. Share with your friend and family. Click the notification bell and leave a comment below. And thank you for your help. Thank you. Bye-bye.